There are more than 1 billion Muslims in the world, and these billion Muslims have approached this text in many different ways. What unfortunately happens is that a rich, diverse tradition is at the mercy of sound bites, and a very multi-dimensional cultural phenomenon is reduced to a few lines in an article or a few seconds in a documentary.
They should go to an imam or a religious scholar, a Muslim scholar, somebody who has extensively studied the Islamic sciences. Go sit with him or her and understand those passages. Just like before I come to a conclusion about violent passages in the Bible, it would be appropriate for me to go to a pastor or a reverend or a rabbi and get the proper context of those verses before I come to any conclusion about Christianity or Judaism.
An overwhelming number of Muslim scholars, members of Muslim communities, have condemned violence that has been wreaked upon New York and Washington, violence that we have seen in Paris and California, violence that we witness in Pakistan, Afghanistan, Bahrain. People have condemned this.
Okay, and so those verses, there are probably maybe about 10 to 15 verses like that. They have to do with laws of war when there's a legitimate Muslim government, okay, who is confronting a legitimate attack, a legitimate threat or an attack, right? And so how they defend themselves, that's what the Quran refers to. It doesn't refer to, like, if that were the case, then every single Muslim in the world, 1.5 billion Muslims in the world, would just be going around killing everybody. But we're not doing that, right? Except for a few individuals, we're not doing that.
So if I stand in front of the tower and claim to be a Muslim who condemns the attacks in Paris, very few people will find me interesting. But if I stand in front of the tower and if I raise some slogans about death to this or that, then that would make news.
I myself and many of the Muslims I know and many of the Muslim imams that I know, we acknowledge the fact that we are not legally required to condemn every single act of terror that takes place in the name of Islam. But we do so anyways because I look at it as a moral obligation, that if by condemning these acts of terror my neighbor can get a better night's sleep, then I'll do it, because that's what Islam teaches me, that to be kind to your neighbors. Let me assure every person who's listening that Muslims do condemn these acts. Not everybody can come on the camera and condemn these acts, but when we do get a chance to go on the camera, we do go on the camera and condemn these acts.
If we go back into history and study the ways in which Muslims have interacted with their religious neighbors, we see many examples of a pluralistic culture. I think it's very important to remember this point, that civilizations are considered by many Muslim philosophers, physicists, mathematicians as collective enterprises, and at least within the Muslim world, the contribution of Christians, Jews, pagans, Hindus has been quite significant.
Rather than look at Muslims suspiciously, I think we should help Muslim Americans assimilate, help them feel more welcome, and especially the first generation immigrants who are coming here, who may not know English that well. If you reach out to them and help them, and that is what all religions teach, and that is the spirit of America, to reach out to others and be helpful.